Hello, world. Welcome again to another exciting restream of the Link to the Past Randomizer main tournament. Today we have match Group P between Derity, _, and BigDunka. My name is Rosalindis. With me today is Sawyer.
Hello. I'm excited to actually see this match here, especially for the mode that was picked.
I am too. I love watching both Dunka and Derity. They each have their own kind of style to it.
Yeah. But we are both Sang starters getting rewarded with bombs, so that's pretty nice to see.
That is a nice start, actually. Getting explosives right at the start of kind of any mode is often a very good feeling, because then you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to get some in like Cackwell or Lion's House or something like that. Already got us a map check, and we're seeing that it's crystals across the board plus red crystal on desert.
So
I don't know how I feel about checking the lumberjack drop at the moment.
I could see it because you're going to do a crab pull and also that one tree pull, so you're already sitting at 80 rupees. It looks like Duncan decided to forego the tree pull, but Derity does know that going over the Lost Woods, you're going to be able to get another 80 if you get one of the crabs down or anything like that. So I do like this. People do like to pair it with the glove and going up here as well if you're going to climb the mountain. But what if you get flute up there?
That's definitely what I will do. Is I will try to check the lumberjack when I'm either going up the mountain or I'm checking bumper ledge at the same time, or like the closest thing being bonk rocks.
Yeah, I mean, those are dependent on having items and such too. And
it is. So, it's all a matter of gambling in the way that you're going to route. We got just a piece of heart in the thief drop down, and what was that? The same thing in the forest clearing.
Looked like arrows in there.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
equally useless.
These two runners do know a little bit about each other. They've already played one match together. Dunka is currently 2-2, and Derity is at 1-3. Their match that they played together was Cross Hunt, which was picked by Derity. And we do have Open, which I think Dunka is kind of picked across the board.
Ooh, got us an early pearl. $20. And just some money, heart piece, and arrows, apart from the pearl in Blind's house, which is less than ideal. It's not as good of a feeling to be like, okay, I got this one cool thing in here and the rest is just trash.
Absolutely. A little bit of money is nice, though, trying to get money for that merchant.
Darity's going to have plenty of cash for the bottle merchant going up here.
Looks like Dunka will as well, finding that 300 in the back of the well.
Yeah, okay.
And we have our first swingy. Pretty standard route from both of these runners, getting into CAC and nice refund from the merchant. That's a good business model right there.
It's the meta is the meta for a reason, because it's a standard formula that tends to work. A lot of folks will try to either avoid the meta or they'll just make other plays first to try and group one-off checks together. Like putting off CAC in hopes to find a bottle first.
Or
but
flute.
Little do they know, the bottle might not show up for 45 minutes. So it makes sense why you just rush CAC, because there are just, 13 things waiting for you right here.
The scout on the library gives us just a piece of heart. Does not indicate that the lovely boots are going to come anytime soon, but that's still an item that we may find.
It's
And
always kind of a good feeling when you see a required dungeon or some item that is going to be hard required behind a desert torch or the lumberjack drop, because then you know I'm gonna find the boots. However soon that might be is, up in the air, but
both runners blind checking race game and getting paid off literally with that 300.
I
So that is
certainly like doing that. I love blind checking the maze race.
it's all good. We may be getting a cat cam, but we do have our first divergence here. Derity taking that sword, going up to Uncle, going up to escape. Gonna see what they can get in here while Dunka is doing another route that is perfectly acceptable to go to South Shore, especially with that 600 rupees and that Moon Pearl.
So far, so nothing from the uncle.
And there's
Got
your
us
bottle.
the drowned bee, which is... I understand the reason why people like to put off CAC until they have that, but now that sick kid is not totally isolated. But the solace is that you're probably going to be making a few trips through CAC to get into the dark world, so...
We do have a walking check of the Desert Ledge, just 20 rupees right now, so nothing that's going to push us over there at the moment. Especially since we don't have
$20
the
can buy
boat.
many peanuts, though.
I don't think Ultros eats peanuts. He seems more like just like a Mog eater, I think.
Does Ultros eat Mogs?
I mean, Ultros, I think, will take anything at this point. Being a receptionist at the Opera House, I think. The Coliseum, actually. Yeah, Coliseum. I do like what Dunka did, because you're not isolating Agina in any way, shape, or form. You may be trying to get flippers or boots or something to make this a little faster. But now heading over to Mini Moldorm Cave, I'm probably going to complete up the rest of the South Shore at this point in time, too.
Oh, Derity getting her own bottle in the statue room of Hyrule Castle.
And Dunka putting good use of that flooded bee, letting him free, letting him poke around at some mini Moldorms, and then just kind of flying around.
Ooh, that was
Ultros right there.
glove. That puts Zora on the table. Oh, and a bow.
Which puts Eastern on the table.
At least as far as the big chest, should they find a big key. But thing to remember is that this is a non-entrance shuffle mode, so VT logic does apply in that if a fire rod shows up, Armos Knights becomes available, logically speaking.
And unfortunately, Derity will be skipping on the bow, so they may have to do this double dip of Eastern area, unless there's another bow over here. Going to South Shore, getting that bow definitely helps with the routing that Dunka's going to be choosing to do on this one.
Oh my lord. Oh, well, there's our Dark World access. Got us a green pendant for Ice Palace, which is a bummer.
I think there's the entrance familiarity that Dunka or that Derity has. Talking to Saha before going to the Dark World to just check the map is something that you see most entrance players do.
Honestly, I will do it with some modes as well. If I do a map check and I don't see the green pendant, I'll ask Saha where it is, just to function as a one fewer clicks I have to do on my tracker. But it's also good to do for the, it's also good to do for key sanity modes. Ice Rod Cave had the mitts, so Dunka has full Dark World access at this point. I imagine he's going to do the Zora stuff next to... He might do Sahat into Eastern, or he might wait to do it later.
I always say with the bow and the bombs, doing the fake flipper and seal delete such things.
Oh no, Derity!
Make that very nice.
Derity's playing a little bit of follow the leader in terms of routing here. She's going to be going into desert. Question is she going to check the lens? She is not.
Just a heart container. And what does the fairy give us today? Just another bee. So hopefully Duncan will be able to use that as another weapon.
All right, Zora Ledge. Oh, the Bombos. That could be our access to any dungeon. Possibly Ice, if Ice has something we need. It's a green pendant, so we don't necessarily want to go there.
But as with most open modes, you know, pendant dungeons do have some value, because typically there's something in them. Derity running over to Mini Molten Cave, gonna get their items in their glove and their bow in here. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do. Dunka is taking his gloves and his mitts to the back of his skate.
Which makes a lot of sense because you don't want to be leaving potentially 3 really useful items just next to a spawning location. Well, no real help there. And it looks like Dunka is going to be going over to Saha/Eastern as well.
Which makes sense, you know, 6 items already here where Derity's already checked this for, so it's just going to be 3 for Eastern.
Yeah.
So it could be interesting to see if Derity decides to go to VOO or anything like that and then loop around to Pipe Cave and such.
It would actually be kind of beneficial if she goes straight for Dark World and ends up finding a mirror or something, because then she can group pod with Eastern.
Derity completely saying no to doing any Zora checks, and it looks like Dunka didn't grab the Pombos over there as well. So we'll see if they have to double back over there.
Got this question of what these sprites are, but Derity is rocking Rocco of Rocco's Modern Life, old Nickelodeon TV show, and BigDunka is rocking Ultros of Final Fantasy VI. 2 classic characters with their own unique flavor of characters.
Derity going for Dark Cross. Not a bad play, especially since they've already done the front. They got the key in the back and the map in the front, so they know that this is going to be an item.
Really big key in Eastern, so Dunka will be able to just run straight for the boss if he so desires. Getting a little bit lost in the dark here. There we go. But it's just $20.
And since Derity won't have as much value, it looks like they will be heading over to Village Outcast area in the Dark World, using using those mitts to get in there quite quickly instead of having to go through all those bushes.
Yeah. $20 could buy many peanuts. Explain how. Money can be exchanged for goods and services. All right. Do we have anything from Dunka's main man? Lazy Kid has the lamp, which gives logical access to everything that Dunka is currently doing. For some reason, that just seems so fitting.
But Dunka, at the same time, doesn't even appear to need the lamp. We do have a possible hover seed with the pendant on Swamp and a pendant on Spo Woods, and a red crystal on Turtle Rock.
So, items we're going to need for go mode include we got us the bow, possibly the boots, mirror plus flute or book. Actually, we do need the mirror plus hookshot for not swamp. We do need us the flute for mire access. Both rods.
There actually is nothing. We have a question in chat. There is nothing on LJL that is of worthwhile. It's just 10 arrows. And Dunka finding the nice sword that's locked behind the lamp. Going to use these sword beams to go ahead and try to find where this green guard is. Green mimic. Igor. I'll get it right eventually.
Having some blade beams in that room right there is actually really useful. Wallmaster is giving Derity the business.
Derity showing her displeasure with the Wallmaster by shooting it with an arrow. Of course, the arrow didn't really kill it, but probably made her feel really good.
Oh no!
That last second
got bopped right at the end.
Yeah, last second adjustment.
So far, the middle of Skullwoods has not really yielded anything good. See if we have better luck on the front. There's some neat stuff on the front. Well, that's not as neat, but it could have been. So we got our first crystal right at the 18-minute mark here for our one BigDunka. Was yet to touch the Dark World, but having an extra sword is going to be extremely helpful going into Dark World, especially against enemies that... Like, I find it funny that you go into the Dark World and all enemies just now will continue to take 2 hits in order to kill them, between guards and ropas and things like that. But then what's funny to me is that you run into these same enemies who all start doing 2 full hearts worth of damage at that time, compared to the half heart damage that you've been taking up to that so far. And you don't get a mail upgrade until the center of the 5th dungeon. Difficulty curve kind of ramps up pretty hard once you hit the Dark World.
I mean, we can't really, say too much about any of the design choices because they created the dead rocks. So once they created dead rocks, I mean, they just went for broke on pretty much everything else.
They kind of did, yeah. Bumper Ledge just showing us just a heart piece. Dunka is learning all too well that Hyrule Castle in open, non-key sanity modes tends to have as little help as it possibly can.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting to see if Dunka takes the Death Warp to go ahead and get to Dark Cross because it's going to have an item on it that Derity was able to go from the back because they already had done the front when they did it. So a little divergence there as well, just in routing choices. While Derity is working her way through VOO, getting tons more money. We're rich. But then again, hasn't also done Zora just yet.
Derity is going to obviously opt to do all of Thieves Town, I imagine, because in modes like this, it's not the worst thing in the world to leave something behind. Plus, it increases the the chances of something useless being in the big chest are practically doubled. But when you see a map just show up, it's like, oh, goody. And Duncan is going to go ahead and use that bee that he got from the fairy in the waterfall cave, which is going to be pretty helpful, actually. And as an honor for us this day, we got us a guest commentator of Big Doggo.
Yeah, they're currently running around like they trying to go through Dark Cross as well and such. So
I can honestly hear myself in the dark window right now, bumping around, bumping into things. Do you prefer to wait for Thieves Town until you find the hammer, or do you just kind of risk it?
If I have mitts going in here, I'll go in it. It depends on what's in the front and what's in the back. Or what's in the front. Like if there's 3 items in the back from what I see in the front and I have the small key, I might leave. But I'm not gonna hold back on that one, especially since, you know, this is our only Dark Road access. I don't want to come back over here. We may not have to, especially since with Skullwoods being a pendant. So I wouldn't wait. I would.
Very good point. Like, it's the same reason why if the midst is your only access, you kind of want to group in Swamp Palace, even if you don't have like the hammer, because getting back there takes forever.
Yeah, if with just mitts and no hammer, if you have the ability to do some checks, go ahead and get those checks taken care of. Especially since there are more items after Thieves Town. There's a lot more items depending on what you get too. We haven't found the hookshot. We haven't found the mirror, so Mountain's kind of off limits to me at this point. Since we haven't found the mirror, I mean, Skullwoods, it really isn't, or not Skullwoods, Swamp Palace really isn't in my mind either. Just trying to get these overworld checks to see what is out there. But we're about to find
some info from the chat saying that because we've got the cape, this is telling us that the eastern area is apparently in double secret logic, but that Cane of Samaria in Blind Cell is a lot more appealing than eastern area at this point.
Yeah, that's the big ticket item. You need to finish the last 2 dungeons before you go before you go into GT in a normal vanilla game. Rando, you may have to do those dungeons before just to get one of the items to do, like a Swamp Palace or something. But hopefully that's not the case, because the more climbs, the more they tend to go, oh, this is not good.
It's because the climbs take 4 or 5 minutes each, depending on if you have boots at all or if you have advanced weaponry. Being able to take out the red and hyper guards it's being able to kill them a lot quicker makes the trip go that much faster. But if you have to stand there with the fighter sword, tapping 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 times, then it just feels awful.
Yeah. Very nice script from Blind. I don't know if you know this, but Blind does have a script. Did you know that?
I believe he plagiarized that script from ChatGPT or some nonsense.
No wonder he was in jail. And it looks like Derity is getting the last heart piece and heading over to South Dark World, whereas it's like Dunka's going to go ahead and follow Derity now at this point. So we're just kind of flip-flopping, follow the leader this entire time.
Derity got her first crystal at the 25-minute mark. See if this dig game has anything of use to us. Just a shield.
So no use to Derity because that was a quick turn right and say see ya to it. This is an interesting play from Derity. Would you be grabbing the smith while walking down here as well?
Considering there is no other access point to the Dark World other than over here, I would say yes. I absolutely do this because she's going to be going back to the Light World from like this point over here anyway. And by looping the smith, which is in logic, it just kind of speeds a couple of checks up.
I could see that. I could see it.
What's really going to suck, though, is if she finds, like, the mirror over here in Hype Cave, because then she has to make the decision, all right, am I going to go to Swamp? Am I just going to walk back and mirror right there?
Well, Swamp's off the table with the smith behind you in open mode.
Oh, that's right.
So that's the interesting thing right there. Is that's the play. It's like if you get something here, you're kind of locked into returning the smith. But luckily, Hype Cave was absolutely not hype. It did give us a really good rupee count, though.
Dunka did off to skip out on Thievestown at the start, which feels a little jarring because he's gonna be ignoring the Cape and Volcano Samaria. Dunka also, I think, missed out on the lamp from Sick Kid.
Yeah, Sick Kid turning on. Yeah, it looks, according to their tracker, it does look like they skipped right by it. So I'm not sure if that was just a mental misstep there or what.
Wanting to group it together with another time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now, though, because if Dunka is grabbing the smith, then Dare Bear.
You're going to have a harsh reality right there. Once you grab the smith, that smith needs to get turned in open mode. This is where the entrance modes kind of show through because entrance, you don't have that restriction. You can bring the smith on world tours, and as a matter of fact, I watched one for about an hour and a half last night just for funsies. But I think at this point you're committing yourself to turn in the smith, go back in, get that purple chest, and then kind of orphaning hammer pegs because you're going to be over here as it is.
But this does work for Dunka because he's going to be going through the village anyway to take the smith home. He can grab Sick Kid right next to it.
could be why they decided to pass on doing Sick Kid and pass on doing Thieves Town, because they knew they were going to come right back to this area. Which, if that's the case, that's some big thinking right there from the BigDunka.
Derity expressing her discontent at the Smith.
I wonder if this is going to be an Eastern play.
She's absolutely going right back.
Right back there.
Not before she checks out the Hylia Island, though.
Which, since she hasn't done any of the water checks, that's very, very knowledgeable right there.
You know, what I can't wait for is... Oh, wait, never mind. We can't actually have that. I was thinking if the 2 red crystals were accessible and then having to do Aga 1 in order to open a portal so you can walk all the way around to get the big bomb to go through the portal so you can reach the Pyramid Fairy. Which has happened to me on a number of occasions because Pyramid Fairy ended up having my hammer.
Fun. I don't think I'd want to play that seed anymore.
Yeah. But Duncan did absolutely do the take the Smith home for the lamp from Sick Kid.
Which, this could actually be good too, because then he will be able to probably grab that purple chest right afterwards. And then go straight turn that in, see if there's anything on there. You are sort of orphaning hammer pegs on this one for him, though, whereas Derity saved quite after the Smith would only probably be doing the purple chest with that hammer, so they can do both of them together.
Dunka opting to do the Thieves Town play at this point, between having only purple chest and this in logic.
We do have Old Man and Spectacle Rock still in logic. I wouldn't be going up there either.
That is true. We do have those.
Like, that's not worth my time.
Not at this moment, no. I mean, if there are better ways up the mountain, you kind of want them.
If they decide that they also want to do Aga 1, Pod is also in logic too, or we can go ahead.
Right, that's like... Aga 1 is in logic, but in terms of this area over here, you've got 2 things being just Thieves Town and Purple Chest.
Mm-hmm.
The mountain's got 2 things through the glove and the lamp, and then you can go through Aga 1 to get over to Eastern area, but that feels miserable.
Or you can always current jump too.
Oh, absolutely. I would definitely be current jumping in this instance.
Derity going
spent about 20 minutes once learning the exact pixel lineup and counting mechanism to be a near 100% success rate.
Oh, I use the slash method. It's smooth for me, so I usually go with that. And we do have Derity going through the dark rooms with that lamp, showing the power of the lamp, getting through them in a little quicker fashion. So you're just running straight there. Dunka's MSU currently is what they like to call vanilla. And it's probably going to stay vanilla for the rest of the term.
Actually, it's what's known as vanilla bean. It's not actually vanilla, but it was a derivative invented by Dryers in 1962.
Where do I go to put this mute button on? Gosh. Roz dropping the fact bombs. And I also got actually. What? Currently at this point in time, we do have both runners just kind of following each other's footsteps. One's going to fight Armos, one's going to go fight Blind. And then we're going to see where each one goes after that. Anybody's guess at this point, because there's so many few options.
Dunka's gonna have a couple directions that he can go from here. Darity's kind of stuck in a hole over in Eastern because she has no way out of here. And Derity is going to be getting her second crystal right at the 35-minute mark. Minus 10 seconds.
And Dunka getting his second crystal at 35.25.
Nicely done. Derity has... Both of our runners have kind of really closed the distance between one another. They've basically done the same checks, except Dunka has done the Zora checks.
Mm-hmm. It has the knowledge of the bombos too, so if they wanted to use that knowledge to get into Ice Palace whenever they get the hammer, that's also something they can do if they wanted to go for that green pendant right away.
And it looks like Dunka is opting for the purple chest turn-in, while Derity is going to attempt the Kern jump instead.
10 bombs, 10 hearts. That's lots of opportunities to get this taken care of.
Plus blue mail.
Mm-hmm. So this is a pretty good divergence from them. I like both plays, especially since the way that Dunka did route to kind of lock that in. Derity unfortunately has had a little bit more. I think I would say a little more going back and forth.
Derity is having a little bit of trouble with this Kern jump here.
This right here is why I do nice. Finally got it on the
there
fifth
we go.
bomb. First try. Unfortunately, I didn't see what was on the purple chest because I was watching the Kern jump shenanigans. Gonna be checking what fish here first, though. So this is obviously going to be walking back from this too. Whereas we're going to get our first look at the old man's save. One of the comments in chat, the old Kern setup. I think that's because Derity started playing back before, from what I found out last night, before Quickstop was around. So most of their knowledge and what they feel comfortable with are the older setups. And probably hasn't looked too much into updating them into the newly found systems yet.
Neither of our runners rewarded for their efforts. Old man had just a heart piece. Catfish had just a few explosives. We got us a nice sword on top of Spec Rock, but without a mirror.
It's like a tease right there.
Ugh. That don't feel good.
What are we doing, Dunka? Oh, we have the hook shot, though. So I'm kind of wondering where that might have been. Was that on purple chest?
That might have been the purple chest.
Ooh, that's a big find for Dunka right there.
That's enormous.
That's now I understand more of this.
Absolutely changed everything. Getting the hook shot out of purple chest just immediately screams mountain.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be interesting to see when Derity might actually get back there. And
there's the mirror.
So here's our tempered sword right here too.
Tempered sword, that's 2 more checks in the Dark World between Graveyard Ledge and 45.
Which means that it's a required mirrorless smith chain. That is
Yup.
disgusting. And there's your flippers for the bombos. So we're just a hammer away from Ice Palace being completely in logic. Yay, green pendant.
But we don't want to do Ice Palace if we don't have to. It'd be nice.
I mean, with Red Cane, that's a quick 3 checks plus the 4th from green pendant.
I suppose. Question
Hopefully
is,
we don't have to do that, but
yeah.
if I had to choose between a pendant dungeon between Swamps and Ice Palace, and I've already done most of Skull Woods, I'm choosing Ice Palace.
Ice Palace is definitely the play if you're going to start dipping pendants because it's faster to get to. Well, that's not necessarily true because if you do have the flippers, then yes, Ice Palace is the play. If you don't, then
Oh my gosh.
Swamp is the...
Well, if you don't have
wait,
flippers,
no,
then
I'm
Swamp
stupid.
is not a play at
Swamp,
all.
you can't get in the flippers.
Yeah.
I was
But we-
thinking if you have to fake flipper to get to one of them, then
Yeah. Ice Rod found inside Spiral Cave. So the mountain's kind of coming up pretty big. I also see this also as a Hera kill. So we're going to probably get a 3rd one here with that Tempered Sword. I mean, it's starting to be a pretty good route for Dunka here. That could always change too if Derity does get the hammer. Like, that opens up a lot more options for Derity as well.
if the hammer is just vanilla, then she's in a good spot because it's going to be up to Dunka to try and find where the hammer is. Because the flippers will possibly compel him to check a couple things in Swamp, which might give Derity a little bit of time back.
And we have Quake as our Turtle Rock medallion, so we haven't seen that yet. That Bombos might actually just be a red herring as well over there on Zora Ledge.
I always loved that character from that 90s cartoon, Scooby-Doo, Red Herring. Voiced by Scott Menville, who's better known as Robin of the Teen Titans.
Ooh, nice. Are we talking new Teen Titans or old Teen Titans?
Old.
Okay.
Well, actually, I think their voices are the same. Like Teen Titans Go, or
Yeah, that's the new one.
then it's the same voices. Oh, reduced flashing. What's that?
I think it's the same thing as the Vanilla Bean MSU. Just don't even click on any of the buttons on there. It's fine.
Well, so far, Pod has not been kind to Derity.
Mm-hmm.
Except for now.
those. And that.
Nice arrows.
Well, all right. Well, we do know that Dunka will probably be coming in here anyways. However, if he's already in Go mode when he does come here, which could happen, he may not get those items, which
It's
could
going to
help.
depend on where this hammer is.
Yep.
Ooh, Dunka is opting not for Hera potting.
Did he go for that map chest too? Or did he just kind of skip it?
You mean
Was that where the big
back
key was?
lobby chest? That had the
Yeah.
big key in it.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, so the boots and the arrows were the primary treasure of Pod. See if they can give us anything special.
Go straight to King's Tomb. Very smart. Derity might not have very much left on their tracker to be able to, like, they may be able to finish out this hook shot pretty quickly. Oh my gosh!
No way, dude!
So we know that Dunka's gonna get boots. However, it depends on when Dunka's gonna get these boots now. That's a pretty gross. Like, there's a pretty few gross item locations in this seed already.
Yeah.
Like, my word.
That was a forced double dip on pod for the hammer. Wow. And its only logical reach is through Aga 1.
So it's going to be interesting to see what Dunka does here. Does Dunka kind of do current jump? And yeah, it looks like Darity's going, yep, the only thing I really have left, hopefully in logic, is going to be this hook shot. But that hammer also pulls up hammer pegs. So they're holding off on this paid off. Hammer does open up hammer pegs. We do know where Bombos is, and like logically not for her flippers still needs to be logic, but
what the hammer really does for Derity at this point is it allows for a little bit better routing in this case, because prior was the only access point in Dark World being over in Village of Outcasts. But now with the hammer, she has access through the portal in front of her house. She can go over in the portal in front of Eastern. She has a lot more maneuverability up on Death Mountain. She can get into Turtle Rock the first time she goes up there, possibly, maybe, I don't know.
Actually, she's very capable. If she goes to Spiral Cave first and gets that ice rod, she can finish Turtle Rock when she goes up there.
Did you say that TR's access was Quake?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, with Quake. So
she is
looking for Quake, but
okay. There we go.
But when she gets able to go in there, when she gets Quake, she'll be able to go in there quite quickly. Flute in Hera basement.
Oy vey. That's required, by the way. Meyer is a crystal.
This seed.
So Dunka is going to possibly be able to loop in Desert in these next couple checks, because Dunka doesn't know the layout for the hammer. Derity is getting access to the mountain. With the boots, she's going to be able to make this a lot faster.
Ultros going a little crazy there. We're gonna find out if that Bombos was a red herring right here as well, because we'll find out the entrance point for Meyer too. And there's that Bombos.
Bombos is required.
So that's also kind of a pretty big thing too, because Derity doesn't know where it's at.
That's right. He's gonna have to eventually go to Zora.
Derity doing a double take at seeing that sword up there going, man, I wish I had the mirror.
Well, fortunately for her, she's gonna get it. Unless by some catastrophe she decides to skip out on Paradox Cave.
Bombos is on Zora Ledge, yes, so Oro. Is that Quake?
Quake on Desert Torch?
Desert Torch, yeah.
So...
So... What?
If Derity does not skip out on Hera Basement, she'll be one item from go. Collectively speaking, that is, because if Derity puts off going to Zora for too long, then it's going to give Dunka all of the space he needs to catch up. Right now, Dunka, if he's following the logic, knows that there are only a couple of things still on the table, logically speaking. I suppose he could go back for the Bombus medallion that he knows about and take care of all of Meyer. However,
Well, I mean, the thing is too with Mir, he's got 2 checks, and I don't know. It's all over the place for him. It all depends on where he's going to go and try if he's going to try to sequence break anything at all.
oh, wait a minute.
The thing that
The flippers being up on Death Mountain actually mean this is not an Aga 1 seed. Because the hookshot was in Purple Chest, which was entirely in logic. The lamp being at Sick Kid gives you access to the mountain. You get the flippers, you just jump the water in the Dark World. No Aga 1 necessary.
Mm-hmm. I think the race, don't want to really say it too much, but there's a big decision for Derity coming up here real quick. Once Dunka finds those boots and then finds King's Tomb and Hammer and stuff like that, he's gonna have all the knowledge of where the items are that he needs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at that point, Darity's gonna be on the clock.
It's going to depend how soon Dunka gets to the hammer. And then on Darity's side, it's going to depend on how soon she gets to the Bombos medallion.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bombos medallion and the flute, I would say. Because those are going to be the 2 crippling factors on her end, and then the hammer is going to be the crippling factor on Dunka's end. How far does he put that off? Does he go into ice? Does he go looking in swamp? Does he do every other crystal dungeon other than TR?
I mean, I think it all depends on if he figures out that you don't need Aga 1 for access to Pod. And this might
He's
be
immediately going for that Bombos medallion.
Yep. Could be also, yeah, just going straight for the Bombos medallion. Probably a save and quit out of there. And Derity also grabbing the tempered sword before going into Hera, which is very smart. But I think if you skip Hera Basement at this point with the fact that you have Hammer and Flippers and all these items and stuff like that, that's going to be a hard last locate. Like a very hard last locate. And
it's true.
So it's going to hinge down to this because Hammer funnels you so much. Like there's so little you can do without that Hammer. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. And we do have our Hera pot. Yay!
Oh.
I don't think she knows you can just reset it by just mirroring.
Yeah, you just need to mirror in order to reset your ancillary values.
I'm glad that she did realize what happened there, but...
There we go.
So this is also a big thing too. Is Dunka's going into Mire without boots, which is a long dungeon with boots. Then you lose that factor of not having the boots, right? But with not knowing where the hammer is, you may have a propensity to full clear everything, whereas Derity could get some time back here depending on how many items they're away from go. So there's a lot of interesting decisions that this open seed has made people do, because you're gonna get drunk and wasted if you're gonna drink every time we say boots.
Until Dunka finds the hammer, he's full clearing everything. That's kind of the situation he's in right now. The one plus side is that there are only so many places the hammer can be in the game. because this is not entrance shuffle.
Oh, here we go. This is going to be interesting now.
She is absolutely not leaving it behind.
So this is going to... Oh, and we are also looking at a Godmire too. This is going to be interesting because Darity's going to get this flute here, then be able to go over to get the Quake. My first thought would be, well, I'm going to go up. Well, I'd probably finish Pod and then probably head up to Turtle Rock, right? I don't know if I'd be doing the water checks just yet.
Yeah, because it's kind of one of those strats where you just rush crystal dungeons once you get those opportunities. And if Dunka's got everything he needs before going up to TR, he go modes TR. Now compare that to Derity, who is going to be looking for... Well, she doesn't have Quake, which she does need to go into... Never mind then. Yeah. She doesn't have Quake, which she's going to get out of Desert.
Yep.
So she's going to be able to go moding TR as well.
Well, it depends on when she gets to Bombos. If she gets Bombos after TR, she's full clearing that. But if she gets Bombos after TR, she's God moding Mire too. So it's kind of a...
Oh, that's right. That's right.
6 in 1 hand type situation here. Like, you have dungeons in which they're extensively long, and you have to find the big key in both of them. Turtle Rock is more linear, whereas Mire can be anywhere.
Time difference. We got a question in chat about the time differential between Go Mode TR versus not Go Mode TR. It depends on where the big key is. If the big key is in Lava Chest, then the difference isn't very, noticeable. But if you get a couple of small keys, you bum the key off of the pokey, and then you just go straight to Laser Bridge, getting the last small key that you need, then you're looking at probably about 30 to 45 seconds, maybe more.
And I'm not sure what's in Dunka's battles right now either. He doesn't have those silvers for Vidi. So it could be an interesting fight for him too. Tempered's great, but he doesn't have a powder to get that Spheria or the health back up. He has that cape, which is going to help, I think.
I'm trying to remember, did Derity actually do anything Dark Death Mountain?
Yes, they did that before Spiral Cave. So I'm very sure that they know about the entrance to Turtle Rock. Okay, so we're going full health here, which is nice. They are right next. They're both in the money room. So the silvers and the boots, it's just that for this fight that's upcoming, it's going to be a little longer for Dunka compared to Derity. This is definitely a good seed that I would probably give to any newcomers. Like, maybe not fully newcomers, but there's a lot of interesting choices you have to make here. And figuring out the logic is pretty fun.
It all depends on what you know gives you it. Knowing which items give you access to which point. Also, apologies to anyone with eye conditions. Flashing is a little bit of a thing that we can't really make any adjustment for in the moment, but fortunately it was really fast. It was a wonderful fight for BigDunka.
Derity
Nothing special in Mire.
Yeah, so that could be some time that Derity may get back, because currently we have Dunka at 5 crystals, where Derity is about to get their 3rd. However, they do have that hammer advantage at the moment. It just opens more things up than what Dunka has. I mean, if he's doing Skull, which is a question in chat, this is kind of Dunka's thing. He believes in Skull a lot. Almost as if he ran a platform on it for ladder. Which, in his situation, I could see this too. If you still have an item or two, I think there's maybe at least just one. This is not a bad choice.
Grouping things together a little bit, I guess.
Do this and then run over to pod as best you can.
Also, we approach the hour mark as a good reminder to give our runners a follow. Derity, _, and BigDunka. If you're just coming in, my name is Rosalindis. I'm with Sawyer today.
Hello.
This is the Link to the Past randomizer main tournament, Group P match number at least 5, 6.
It's 5 for both Dunka and Derity, yes.
And at the hour mark, we have, I believe, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crystals between. Yeah, we've got 5 crystals across both runners here. Currently, Derity's in search for the Bombos Medallion, and Dunka's in search for the hammer, and will soon be the boots. Dunka.
And Derity doing what I believe would be the call that anyone would make, would be go and rush up to Tier Rock, get those 6 items there are 5 items that are in there.
Yeah, because what's going to end up happening is Derity's going to search all of TR, including outside, such as Mimic Cave.
Also, probably going to get a ped check here, too.
How would they do that?
It's Ultros has telepathy, dude. Seriously. Look, I'm not so smart. I just had a 3-hour cross key seed.
I get it.
Green boxes aren't on screen. I don't go brr. Literally green box because it's the book. Get it? Ba-da-ba. Anywho, Derity's heading into Turtle Rock. It looks like Dunka is going to go and Kern jump and then kind of start progressing along their seed.
I'd be interested to see if Dunka pulls off this Kern jump successfully on the first run.
Do you have doubts?
I do.
Do you do the Kern jump the way that Derity was doing it?
I do not.
Okay.
I actually know that there is a single pixel that you just have to stand above the edge of the the rock, and then place lift, count 1, 2, 3, and jump.
There are so many methods to do it. Hey, Kern jump was done correctly. Woo!
All right. Yeah, getting those flippers not flippers, the boots. Getting those boots in pod kind of gave a lot of time to Derity. Well, right up until that happened.
I mean, I think yes and no. I think at this point, Derity, just go buy them. Come on. Just ignore them. Because he's going to go into pod, get those boots, knows where Quake is. be funneled into the hammer behind those boots. And then he's in go at that point. So that's kind of a concern for Derity at this point.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a matter of whoever gets to it first.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing's for sure that Dunka does not have to search anything for. Dunka does not have to search TR for anything.
Yep. Or do mimic, he'll be able to go.
Right.
He'll just go.
Even if he were to go back and get the hammer, or not the hammer, the Quake medallion, it doesn't do anything for him at the moment.
We have chat stating that there's a vanilla big key. Derity? We're gonna find out real quick if they got the big key. Maybe this is the entrance way of going outside and then getting the big key and then mirroring back to the Turtle Rock East. Maybe that's what it is. That's what I'm hoping it is.
I guess.
Yeah.
But it would mean going back to. She's definitely looking for the Bombos medallion.
Yep. Definite hopium right here. This is the moment where I kind of wish that people had like the webcams on, because then you're like, wait, what?
She didn't realize she didn't have the big key. She wasn't paying attention to that.
Now my hope is that they just mirror instead of like try to
walking
run back
again.
Yeah, please don't do that. Just mirror. And Dunka is in pod, which we know is going to have the goods for him. Ultimately lead to go mode for him.
So here's the issue I see.
Yay, mirror. Sorry.
The issue I see that could cripple Dunka is after this, he's going to find the boots. He's still going to know that he has access to 2 dungeons, neither of which are helpful. Does he opt for rushing Ice Palace? Or is he going to rush for boot checks?
I think with boot checks being so easily accessible to Sanctuary, that's so quick. I mean, you're looking at like a minute to save, like doing a minute for both those checks total to save 7 or 8 in a dungeon.
It all depends on, like, it depends on where items are located, of course. And it's just a matter of weights and measures versus how much time you sink into one versus another. Because, like, you guys are all correct that the Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb are so quick to check from Sank spot. You're spending about a minute or something to get the 2. However, assuming that the answer is incorrect, that's yet another minute sunk.
Yeah.
Finding the shovel on Laser Bridge does nothing for Derity, though.
Here's another thing, too, though. As pointed out in chat. You can't do Turtle Rock with the Quake because you don't have the hammer. And you can't do all of Ice Palace without the hammer. And you only have 1 check in Logic without the hammer in Swamp. So, I mean, those dungeons to me are kind of like dead. A little bit.
How many times has the hammer just been in ice, though?
I mean, many, but again, he's been pretty thorough with clearing dungeons as he can. That's why I think why he tried to put off pod.
That's true.
So This is kind of one of the philosophies I think that some runners have is full clear, right? Do the dungeons only if you can completely clear it, which is why he's in here last. These are the fun parts of Randall that I like, trying to figure out the most optimal way to do things. And of course, when I'm actually playing, I never even touch them. But, you know, theory crafting is always cool.
Armchair quarterbacking.
Exactly.
Which I'm sure both of our runners would appreciate.
Yup. Sitting over their shoulders, just being like, hey, go here, go here, go here.
Throw to that guy. Just as we expected, Turtle Rock having nothing of value. In addition to this, though, Derity's got Swamp Palace that she can dive.
I see dungeons in her future.
Oh,
yeah.
It doesn't feel good.
She actually has Ice Palace she can dive too. So... this is reasonable. Get the shovel, immediately check it. Kind of a big choice again. There's a lot of big choices here. Going to Sanctuary.
Is he doing it? Yeah, he's doing it.
Doing it.
Dunka is about to hit go mode and just rush the dungeons as hard as possible.
Bombos is currently on Zora's Ledge, which Dunka scouted and was able to get, and then did Mire. Derity just opted to save and quit after getting the mitts in Ice Rod Cave, which is also a very reasonable play too. She has not seen it now.
Well, it looks like she's opting for Pyramid Fairy instead.
And this is where doing Catfish might actually hurt a little bit. And there's our go mode for BigDunka at 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 46 seconds.
So he is going to rush pod and then gonna go mode TR. And fortunately, there won't be too much of a need to, you know...
But Catfish has already been done to those that are talking about that in chat.
Yeah.
So it kind of has less value there. They both did Catfish before they went to Pod trying to find the hammer, thinking, you know, because Catfish is stupid and should not exist, but it does, so it sometimes has things. But I could see this into Pod. Nice gold sword, though.
Vanilla sword. Got us a gold sword from Pyramid Fairy.
So that could be also a thing too. You do the man under the bridge and check Zora before ice. That's definitely overworld clearing, and I'm not sure how Derity's really feeling. But
Has Derity checked the Waterfall Fairy? She has not.
But holy, are we sitting on her shoulders? Like, seriously. This is going to put Derity in go mode as well.
Oh man, this is going to be a race to the finish.
This could be interesting because
TR is longer.
Especially with a God Mire. Who's big key on bridge. And Derity will have silvers for Vidi. And gold sword for Vidi if she so chooses. This was a lot of choices to get to this one spot. Like, Derity knows Bombos is all she needs. So she is like, screw you, Zora. You don't exist anymore. I am out of here. Yeah, we also do have to worry about Derity climbing the mountain again. This could come to that gold sword being a thing. For 1-on-1s, always a possibility. GT routing is now becoming a possibility. It'll be interesting. I'm now super excited for this.
This is coming down to the wire.
Uh-huh.
6th crystal done on Dunka's side. Oh no! Derity doesn't have pod done.
No, it does not have pod, but we'll be able to go over there with the hammer and flute and everything. So it's the TR full clear that Dunka has to do. But
Dunka doesn't have to full clear it.
I believe there was a small key on big chest too, though.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be interesting.
At least he doesn't have to do like Mimic Cave or Laser Bridge or anything like that.
I think there's a small key in the chest, I think they do have to do that, especially with vanilla big key.
Yeah, they have to go outside at least.
So they probably will have to do laser bridge too, because all the small keys get eaten up just getting back to laser bridge.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. Okay.
So, but this probably makes Derity smile right there, whereas Dunka is just running straight up there. Yeah, with vanilla big key, just skipping that big chest is hard to do. We do have Dunka going into Turtle Rock. Derity setting up for possible spooky. Just face tanking the spikes to the body right there, just being like, I'm moving, get out of my way.
Very nicely done. It's that spooky, nice and quick.
Mm-hmm.
She's opting for shoots from the silver arrows.
She's opting for zigzagging those silver arrows right there.
Nice quick fight though.
And I will say this because I know Bitey is in chat. Please don't ever switch to the mirror before you get out of the entire dungeon. That is so scary. For 2 frames. At least that's what I'm told.
I mean, I just keep my finger away from the Y button.
I do that like when all I have is bombs or I'm just like in a mirror, only a mirror like in crosskeys and stuff. I'm like, my thumb is nowhere near those buttons. All right, so Dunka is getting up to chain chomps. Derity is gonna have to take this long run to pod. I could see simultaneous gloss kills, which would put Dunka like a minute ahead. Let's see if Dunka realizes that he needs to go to Lava Chest. Having a little pokey troubles.
Right for the bunny. Dunka does keep track of keys.
I would assume that Dunka is
Derity.
laser focused right now. Oh no. Oh no.
What'd she leave behind?
Stoffel's basement.
Oh, that's right.
I think this is the nerves that come with being in the main tournament against Harden as well, while the two gods behind him start to duke it out.
Yeah,
I think this is the nerves right here of the main tournament.
The test anxiety is very real. Like when the adrenaline is flying and at least you realized it real quick. It's not too much of a time loss, but it can be a fair amount. Whoops.
I really
accidentally misplacing the Samaria block there.
I just like it when it does that. You know you're pressing the right direction. It just puts it off to the side.
The dogs are excited too.
My apologies for them.
Oh, don't be. They're good boys. There it is. There's the key.
So we will unfortunately be closer to having simultaneous boss kills. It just that minute that Derity took to get back there and then had to go back. I think that was the mountain climb that could have caught her to be tied going into GT.
Mm-hmm.
So
Uh-oh. Dunka was getting a little low on magic.
Yeah.
But it's okay, because he actually does still have a few blue potions.
yeah, buying those potions once he was coming back from Catfish was really smart. But we do have the crystal grab here, where Derity will be going up to the mountain at the same exact time.
These dead rocks, I swear. All right. 7 crystal mark. Dunka is mad dashing for GT entrance. Derity is entering the Dark Death Mountain right now. Question, did Derity backtrack and mirror after forgetting the big key? She did mirror.
We do have Dunka going into GT at 1 hour 23 minutes even.
So it's going to boil down to where this big key is and how our runners route. Oh, there's one.
Whew, okay. I was hoping, I was like, please don't be in Hope Room. Make this a little more spicy, please.
There's 2. The thing to remember about GT in VT logic is that key logic and placements are conditional, so the keys can point you to going one side versus another.
And
well, there's the big key.
Looks like Derity is going Hope, but let's hope that it's just Hope left. Lots of hopes there.
I lose to both of these instances because when I find a small key right there, I do exactly what she's doing.
Exactly what Darity's doing. I do the Stalfos room route first, and then I come over here, or come over to the right side. It's just unfortunate.
It's literally a coin flip.
Yep, that's sometimes what I think that's what a couple of our matches came down to in the Kaz Boots tournament too, which is the coin flip in GT.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I do feel for Derity. They may watch this back or may hear about it a little bit, especially since her and I will be doing co-op cross keys right after this. So they'll ask, and I'll have to be honest, and a couple things here and there could have swung it a different way.
I mean, if Bomba's medallion had just been in Pyramid Fairy, it could have been wildly different on both accounts.
One placement here and there. Dunka's making quick work of the gauntlet right there, using as much of the arrows and magic as he possibly can, knowing that there's going to be at least a little refill coming up next.
And there's her big key. She's headed upstairs. Hot on Dunka's tail, but she is going to be a couple minutes behind.
And since she did go to the right side over there, using all that magic, where Dunka was full magic going in here with the fire rod and such too.
Mm-hmm. Moments like this kind of pays to be a little bit, at least a little bit proficient in the NMG strats, just because GT is a lot of execution. GT is a lot of precise movement and timing. And the better you are at it, the shorter work of these kind of long sequences you can just make. Like you can turn a 10-second room into a 4. You can turn a 3-second room into less than 2.
Kind of case in point here with the first room of the gauntlet. Strat usually just use the arrows and kill those Stalfoses because they fly away from you if you swing. And she's chasing down every monster while he was just flying through them with the bow and the fire rod. So
yeah, this is kind of
what Roz is just saying right here too. It's just, as I've been told by many of friends of NMG runners, you have to do the gauntlet all the time in 95% of your seeds, right? So to know how to do them as quickly as possible is such a, for lack of a better term, time saver.
Right. I was actually talking to my NMG runner friend of mine who gave me kind of a couple of options where there are 2 ways to improve your times and get better. The first is to always be right. Always guess right and always know exactly where to go and just be the luckiest person on planet Earth.
I hear those people usually get banned in Tark. So wait,
the alternative, if you can't do that, is to sharpen your skill, sharpen your talent, and practice execution. Those are your 2 options, basically, in order to improve times for very execution-oriented modes like open and standard. Because once you get the boots, knowing the dash lines and timing for each dashing point helps you a lot. Already down phase 2 for BigDunka here. Whoops.
Might be a touch interesting. I'll get in the double spin and just tanking the body shots, and unfortunately 1 or 2 shots short. Definitely one of those slashes was just a safety slash.
Reasons to practice Samaria.
Well, even with tempered, 1-on-1, knowing that fight too is pretty strong. So knowing GT and knowing the Ganon fight is some of the best ways to save time, as you were just mentioning as well. So there are definitely places wherever Ganon is, you can do multiple strategies. There's multiple people that'll be able to help you. 2 shots in with that nice silvers that was found in pod next to the lovely boots.
Whoops. Oh no.
And 2 more shots. And
There we
Dunka
go.
will be crossing over this bridge
GG's
that
in
appears.
chat for our winner this afternoon. Couple shots just a little too high.
129.50. We have Dunka taking first place. And we are joined by our second place person who gets to watch their Ganon fight, Derity. GG's.
GG's.
Hello. GG's.
So, some
There was
interesting.
a lot to the seed.
Oh gosh, yeah. I threw pretty hard, I think.
Some interesting item placements.
There were a lot of ways that this could have swung in either direction. Nice use of the potion there.
Oh, we don't have to watch this. This is tragic. Like I had seen, that Dunka finished, and I was like, well, I'm right here. I'll finish it out, and yeah, no spoilers. But based on how some other stuff went, we could probably guess what happens. So.
It took a few hits with a couple of bats, but then you shot the pig.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Oh, that was
Oh.
a surprise.
Well, that kind of explains
Yeah.
the DNF in the race room.
Yeah.
No spoilers, but GG's to our second place tonight.
GG's. So, if there was one thing you could take back, or 2 things you could take back, what would they be?
There are 3 things that I would take back. And I think we know what they are. Clearly, I don't do world tours with the Smith very often. So that was a nice surprise. Because, I grabbed them and I was like, Eastern's a crystal. I should do this. This is silly to do the Smith like right now. Well, I'll just bring them with me. And I was like, oh, well, that sucks. So today I learned. And then...
Too used to cross keys.
Literally. But that's okay. Now I know. Yeah, the TR situation at that point. So, I took the gamble kind of. I mean, obviously I don't know what Dunka did, but I was kind of guessing. I was like, I have a really crummy moth. Like maybe the hammer is on moth. I have the purple chest turn in. I was like, maybe the seed wants me to be Aga for the East Dark World access. Let me see if I can just current jump over there. So I felt good about that decision because then I immediately got the hammer. So kind of playing through all that stuff, once I'm in TR, I'm seeing, Dunka's not finished. Get a little panicky, not really focusing and paying attention, not grabbing the big key. And then, the same thing in pod, right? I routed through pod and I was like, I have to remember that I need to grab that small key from the Stalfos basement. And, 50 minutes later.
We had a small feeling. We had a small feeling that the nerves were starting to play, and the Smith thing definitely crossed Key's brain right there. All in all, you did very, very well. I did see a lot of good things. Your Bombos go mode was scouted by Dunka, but it also lets you do not having to do all of Meyer. That was that helped you get back into it a little bit too. So I liked what I saw. I didn't say too many bad things.
Did he end up doing agar, or did he do the current jump also? And
He didn't
Well,
need to.
He found the flippers and then first tried the kern jump.
oh,
So
were the
he
flippers?
mirrorless.
Oh, was it
couple
on the
chests.
mountain?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Interesting.
He got the hook shot and then rushed the mountain, got Flipper's mirror, and then just. He searched pretty much everywhere that he could have gotten to for the hammer, including desert and mire. That includes going back to get the Bombus medallion. Ended up not going over until Pod. He didn't go over to Pod until after he had finished Skull Woods. Because at that point, it's either Ice Palace or Pod, both of which in logic. Which gave you, plenty of time to close the distance, which you ended up doing. But like we were saying, if the Bombus medallion had been in Pyramid Fairy, this could have completely swung in the opposite direction. Because by that point, he would have had to go up and do TR and then come all the way back down. So, rando be rando, but it was a very well executed rando. Those boots really did put you at a great advantage because you spent most of the seed on the run.
Yeah, it felt good when I pulled them. Yeah, it sounds like we just really had complete opposite routes. So it's interesting that even, maybe he had some hiccups, but knowing that I had 3, I would say pretty major hiccups that, it ultimately would have finished within a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, without those hiccups on my end, who knows? So really interesting.
It's funny. You both had pretty much the same opening to start, going from Sank to Lumberjack check through the woods, through CAC. It was at that point that you guys started to diverge a bit. You going to Hyrule Castle, him going to South Shore. He then opted to go and do all of Eastern, while you did the South Shore to make up. And then once you ran for Dark World, he then made up Hyrule Castle to basically close the same things that you did. The only benefit he had at that point was he checked Zora at the same time, getting the mitts.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of my early play to Hyrule Castle. Like, I was walking up there, I was like, this probably isn't the best time to do this. Normally, I think I would check the Zora area paired with, the Ice Rod Cave check. But yeah, I didn't really like how I routed the opening, so I was like, no, let's just go Dark World. So, interesting.
Well, the only reason it seemed like it was unlikable is because Hyrule Castle was garbage. If the flute had just been there, then by all means, yes, this is a wonderful play. I love this. So, it was actually okay.
And once I committed, and then, I did the save and quit at a Zelda cell, and I was kind of kicking myself for not going to Dark Cross, because I was like, well, what if it's the key, and now I'm missing out on the back of it? Like, and it worked out, but yeah, I wasn't too thrilled with my decision making there at the beginning. But
honestly, we actually liked your Dark Cross out of the back of the escape area because it was a shorter sequence in that regard, because didn't involve having to take a death. It didn't involve having to go through the main castle lobby. You just start right there at the drop down and then just go through a couple of dark rooms, and that was it.
For sure. Yeah. Thankfully, it kind of worked out. But yeah, thanks for the restream. Thanks for comms and Sean doing double duty with the restream and the tracking. So really appreciate it.
Thank you for a terrific show. Very well played. Look forward to the next match between you and your next opponent. Any parting words for our viewers and audience tonight? We are going to be heading off to Zelda speedruns, so stay tuned for the next races for everyone. Give our runners BigDunka and Derity _a follow. Thank you for joining us.